Welcome to Purpose, Power, and Potential, presented by the Top 1%. Today's episode focuses on the power of your thinking. Benjamin Disraeli put it nicely when he said, "The greatest good you can do for another is not just to share your riches, but to reveal to him his own." My goal is to show you the riches you already have inside of you, so you can bring them forth to make an impact in the world around you. Let me ask you a question. What makes a genius? Is there a consistency in the process that takes place in the lives of all world-class performers to get them to the highest levels? If such a process does exist, can it be used by anyone to reach genius levels of performance? What are the steps in that process? And above all else, can we predictably build a legacy of purpose and impact in the world around us? The answers to the above questions have a solid foundation of well-documented evidence. We're each born with adequate resources to become experts, geniuses, and even masters in our performance and impact. It is the decision to use these resources that each of us must make for ourselves. We must each take personal responsibility for our progress. It is my conviction that we all have a latent power within us, waiting to be expressed to its fullest potential. The expression of this power is not by luck or happenstance, but is rather the outcome of a replicable and predictable process. This process is not reserved for a genetically gifted fortunate few, but is available to whomever chooses to cultivate the discipline and persistence necessary to become a top 1% achiever, leader, and impact maker. Benjamin Franklin said, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, success, and achievement have no meaning." You may think that comfort leads to happiness. It doesn't. Happiness comes from growth and feeling like you're making progress. You need a meaningful goal worth pursuing to achieve happiness. One of my favorite quotes is from the great C.S. Lewis, and he said, "There are no ordinary people. It is immortals who we work with, joke with, marry, snub, and exploit. All of you have inherent value, as do each of the people you meet." This quote rings true for me because I believe there are unbelievable possibilities in the common lives of all the people with which we interact. There is an untapped potential in each and every one of you waiting to be expressed. You can literally learn something from every person you meet. Each individual has some skill set not yet developed within you that you can learn from. Try to find value in every person you meet and understand what they have to offer. There are two approaches we can take as we look at the way we live our lives. The first approach is the average person's approach. It's called a passive orientation. This type of person looks at the environment around them and their circumstances, and they allow those situations to dictate the way they live their lives. They sort of take a backseat approach in life, rather than acting on their own volition. This is a weak approach, and this is not the approach you want to take. This is the losing mentality. There is a second attitude we can adopt in life, and that is called the action-oriented attitude. This person is a powerful force of nature. This person acts on the environment and the circumstances around them and molds those circumstances to make their life work better for them. They plan their strategy and they execute their strategy the way they want to. They don't worry about the circumstances. They work through them and use them to their advantage. It is very important for you to recognize the power of your thoughts. The great Earl Nightingale once said, "You are what you think about most of the time. And that's the strangest secret." You see, if you think about yourself and your own needs and your own desires most of the time, most likely you'll end up being a self-centered narcissist. And you probably won't be a very good friend, a very good father, or a very good leader. However, if you focus on caring for others, serving others, and leading well most of the time, you'll probably be a great father, a great friend, a great leader, and a great servant. Top 1% individuals think top 1% thoughts habitually. On one level, it really is that simple. You are not mentally developed simply by what you read, but rather by what you think about what you read. You see, thinking is very difficult and exhausting labor, and consequently, very few people spend much time actually doing it. In Western culture in particular, there is a continuous race for pleasure, in which the majority of people spend all of their free time in an effort to escape having to actually think. The primary means of escape at this point are mobile devices and social media. We all spend entirely too much of our time indulging in these types of activities, and we just don't take enough time away to think meaningful thoughts. The crucial thing to understand is that thinking, not merely knowledge or information, makes a person who they are. Your thinking is completely responsible for your self-concept, which is what you think about yourself. As Emerson said, there is a core idea of yourself by which all the facts of your life are arranged and ordered. If you can change that central idea, you can then change the arrangement and order of all the facts and circumstances of your entire life. You are what and who you are because you think as you do. Powerful thoughts will end in a powerful life. If you subscribe to my podcast, you've probably heard me refer to Lewis Howes and his great show, The School of Greatness. In a recent episode, I heard an amazing interview with the serial entrepreneur and multimillionaire Ed Milet. He had a particularly insightful way of describing this self-imposed handicap. The amazing news, as he explains, is that there are two ways we can increase our ability to succeed by altering this thermostat. The first way is to force ourselves beyond our perceived level of competence by taking on projects or tasks for which we don't yet feel capable. The second way, which is very powerful, is by associating regularly with others who are already operating at a much higher level than we are in any given area of expertise. If there's one thing you take away from this episode, I want it to be the understanding that you have unlimited potential, and by controlling your thoughts and maintaining an action-oriented thinking pattern, you will make a powerful impact and contribution to the world around you. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Purpose, Power, and Potential, where we will cover how to find purpose and meaning in your life. And be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media so you can reach the top 1%.